Hey guys, just had this motivation to upload a video on a certain topic, which is for the people that take things personal and that care too much about what others think of them, to the point where it takes up their daily lives and it ends up turning them into a person they're not. Um, this is very important because this is affecting millions and millions of people, especially the young generation. Um, well, I will say that I used to be part of that myself, and then one day I just stopped giving a fuck. Uh, let's just recap a little bit here. I have like a lot of misconceptions about me, cocky, or is positivity real? Is it fake? Is it just? And I'm starting to hear a lot about envy and jealousy, which I never fully understood up until recently, at age 23. Um, I knew what it was, but I didn't know how deep it was to the point where it can affect relationships and friendships, which is really the base point of how my friendships have ended and how sometimes I've become the person that stopped caring about what other people think. Um, they say that when you don't take things personal, you experience true freedom. And when I read that a while back, it really spoke to me because I went through a period where I did. As a kid growing up, I was very insecure about who I was. And eventually, as you get older, people are more verbal. People have more to say on a deeper scale. And it wasn't until maybe about 4 or 5 years ago where people actually had something nice to say, but in a way where it was brought to my attention that mattered. Um, Eventually, I started seeing myself for who I was, worthy, loving, and very caring. And of course, when you hear about that kind of stuff, other people look at you as just like a loser or soft or whatnot. And to me, I never thought of it that way. I always thought that if you were a very strong man or strong woman, you have that love in your heart, no matter what tough times you're going through. And that to me is a warrior, like a lion beating on his chest. Um, Eventually, there was a time period where I actually did care and gave a fuck. And that was when I was hanging out with somebody that was very envious and jealous. Um, to make a long story short, I ended up believing that there was a problem with me. And eventually I became a hater. Because they say that when you let a hater bring you down, 10 times out of 10, you become a hater. Well, I started caring what people thought about me afterwards too, from all around, because who I was and how I expressed myself affected that person and those around me that didn't have much or were trying to become better people. And I've always looked at it as me being encouraging. I always saw the beauty in them, and I've always saw the beauty in people and life. And so I wanted to verbalize that with my own expressions. Well, I guess when I got older, I started realizing that people had ulterior motives with their intentions. I started realizing that sometimes people really don't like you succeeding. People don't like that you're happy, and people don't like that you try to make others happy. And that eventually made me a stubborn person. I became stubborn because when I realized that people can switch the good in you to bad because they would rather see you at that level. I wanted to stay stuck in my ways and end up not giving a fuck what people thought about me, because I felt like people wanted to manipulate me and bringing myself down with them. And so once I cut that person off and a handful of other people off, I created this. I created my own movement because the world needs that. I wanted to make people feel good about themselves. When they wore this shirt, they weren't just wearing a fucking cotton. They were wearing a piece of history. And I didn't do this for me. Really didn't. It first started off as something local. Like, hey, towards my friends in the city around me. They need a little boost of confidence and someone to know that they were loved and appreciated. And even if that person already knew the good things that that person has done for them, they won't verbalize it. And when I was younger, I was very quiet, self-kept, very shy. And then I realized that I had a voice. And I was going to use that voice. It's a gift. And a lot of people don't use it. Or a lot of people don't know how to use it. Where to start? What are the right words to say? Well, I went through some things into spirituality, and I ended up just like silencing my mind real quick and started following this and started living with that. And so when you're a kid, you're innocent. You don't really have an ego. You live more 100% spirit. And that's why kids dance around, they do funny stuff, and they don't care or get shy about it. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying I'm a kid or whatever. I'm a damn big kid at heart, but here's the thing. I live more with the soul, and I balance this, and therefore just try to find a yin and yang to life. Now, I pretty much just see the worth in people, and this isn't just about me. This is for y'all that can relate. Eventually, you'll start to realize that the people that really do care about you will accept you the way you are. And sometimes you can't always be stubborn. You gotta be open-minded to the opinions of others. At least people that are close to you, you know? Because no advice should ever be overlooked. Well, be considerate and be respectful and treat others the way you want to be treated. I know that sounds cliche, but that's really something that the world needs to practice on. And I know that the world can change once I have created, and once other people, millions of other people like me or different than me, start creating more leaders. All right, y'all. Well, y'all have a good day.